Hello and welcome back to the John and Adrian podcast. So in this episode, we're going to talk about the first game of the NBA Finals, and then after that, we're going to have John guess the MLB World Series champion, and then as we do for every Thursday's episode, we do our pick'ems, and then at the very end, we're going to punch our favorite punching bag. So let's get right into it, John. The game one of the NBA Finals happened. The Lakers blew out the Heat, and after watching game one, I think that the series is going to be over a lot quicker than we both initially thought. Not because the Lakers are better than the Heat, right? We both said this, but the Heat got ravaged with injuries. Their Dragic, he's going to be out for, most people say, the entire series, but if he does play, he'll be at 50%, right? He won't be fully healthy. Same for Bam. He won't be fully healthy for the rest of the series.
Yeah, I didn't watch the game, but those two injuries are huge for this team. So without them, I don't see it being as good a series as we foresaw.
Right.
I was hoping for 6 to 7 games of good basketball, and now I don't think we're going to necessarily get that, which is disappointing.
I don't think the Lakers will sweep the Heat. It's just, maybe they steal game 2 or 3, but yeah, I don't see them making it a competitive series. Mm-hmm. Right. So that's sad for the Heat.
Yeah,
but
it's unfortunate.
It is what it is. You just deal with injuries, and who knows, maybe in the next couple games someone on the Lakers gets hurt. I don't know.
And
maybe
we'll even it out. AD gets hurt.
Right.
That will be a competitive series again.
Right. But we don't want that to happen. We're looking for the clean 5 games here. Okay, so John, I sent you the MLB bracket, right? So I forgot to do this last week before when the bracket was fresh, because I forget. I thought baseball would have a 7-game series to start off the wild card round, but I was mistaken, and they did 3-game series, and everyone on the AL sweeped their series, and it was done in a matter of minutes. But okay, so the first game I want you to predict here is the Tampa Bay Rays versus the New York Yankees, and keep in mind, John has little to no baseball knowledge.
Absolutely none. I don't even recognize any of these logos besides the A's, the Houston team, and the Cubs. And the Cubs literally says Cubs in the logo. So I know and the Dodgers, but I recognize nothing else here. So you want me to do Tampa versus New York?
Yep. The Yankees, yep. Just pick who do you think is going to win, based off the names or your little knowledge.
Well, Tampa's the 1 seed. New York's the 5, so I'll go with Tampa.
All right. And then the next series, we have the Houston Asteroids versus the Oakland A's.
Well, Houston's going to cheat, so I think they win.
Okay. And then, so we get to the NL, and we're going to start with, so Miami currently has a 1-game lead over the Cubs. They're going to play tomorrow, and then on then on Saturday, I believe, again. So the series is still ongoing, but who do you think is going to win between the Cubs and the Marlins?
Can I look up what the record or the score of the 1 game they've played is?
You can,
want me to do
you can do
totally
that.
Guessing?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
I think it was what was that score? I forget. It was 5-1 favor of Miami.
The Cubs are the 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Marlins the 6. I'll go with the Marlins. Why not?
Okay.
The Houston were the 6 they won, so they can do it.
Right, and then so now Marlin versus Atlanta Braves.
The Braves.
Okay, and then so the San Diego Padres and the St. Louis Cardinals are still playing, and it's currently tied 1-1. Who do you think? So their next game would decide who wins.
I'll say San Diego.
Okay, and now the Dodgers are currently playing the Brewers, and they're beating them 3-0 with like one inning left to play. So
I'll say the Dodgers win
Okay.
the series then.
so now Padres versus Dodgers.
The Dodgers.
Okay, so now so you have Atlanta versus the Dodgers, right?
Yeah,
Okay, out of those two.
probably the Dodgers. I'm
All
not a
right.
Dodgers fan. I don't like the Dodgers because their fans are annoying, but I think they'll probably go to the World Series.
Okay, and then you had
Tampa versus the A's, I think, or Houston. Tampa
Okay.
versus Houston is what I had.
Yeah.
The correct me if I'm wrong, but the World Series that Houston cheated in, they beat the Dodgers, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah. I
That's
think
what
we get a
they
rematch.
okay. You think you get a rematch, and what do you think ultimately happens, John?
I think the Astros cheat again and win.
All right, you already
But
here.
if we're gonna ignore cheating, then the Dodgers.
Okay, so you have the Dodgers winning it all.
And my projections are all based on 3-game series continuing throughout the playoffs.
I believe the ALDS and NLDS go to 7 games, and then the World Series and whatnot. Which is I don't know why the wild card round is only 3.
So only the wild card round was 3, not all the other ones.
The rest are 7.
Okay. Well, in that case, I think Tampa beats Houston. I don't think Houston could pull it off through a course of 7 games.
Do you think
and
Tampa
then-
beats the Dodgers?
I don't know. I want Tampa to win because I don't like Dodger fans. But I know more about the Dodgers than I do about Tampa, so I'll say the Dodgers.
Okay, so you heard it here, folks. John thinks the Los Angeles Dodgers are going to win the World Series. Great. Thank you, John. I didn't want to say it. That's what I was going to say. So do you want to do our pick'ems? Let's go over our Thursday game, the Broncos versus the Jets. John, can you remind me who you picked for this game?
Me?
Yeah.
So I didn't remember, and I texted you before the game, like, hey, we both picked the Broncos, right? And then you're like, nah, I'm pretty sure you picked the Jets. And I'm looking at it right now, and yep, I picked the Jets, and I don't know why.
And if I distinctly remember at the end of last episode, I was like I was telling you, do not pick the Jets. You were being stupid, and you were like, no. You're just leading me down the wrong pathway.
I do remember saying that. I also remember saying if I don't give the Jets this win, I don't see myself giving them
Which
a
is
win
fair
later
because,
on.
like, I think towards the end of the game, they flashed up like an icon of
They
the
did.
Jets' next 5-6 games. And I looked at that schedule and I was like, those are all L's. Like, there's no way they're going to beat any of those teams, especially with Sam Darnold having like a shoulder injury now. Like, Joe Flacco played in this game. Which I forgot Joe Flacco was still in the
finished the game though.
Yeah, he did finish the game, but it was probably like I don't know. If someone's not,
It was the fact that they were only down by 2.
Right.
I think they thought they could win, but then he took that sack and they lost.
But I
so.
think the thing about it was also that like Sam Darnold injured and Sam Darnold now isn't playing very great. Now imagine him injured. That's even worse.
Yeah.
So
I think Joe Flacco will probably, even if they just don't want to risk Sam Darnold getting hurt more, right? Like if they think he is the quarterback of the future and they think that he's injured, then this year is a throwaway year for them. Like even if he can play, don't make him play.
Right.
Sit.
No, it's the Broncos had to come back in this game, which is like the most I don't know. It wasn't bad because the MetLife turf monster is savage. It's out there killing people left and right. A lot. It felt like so many people. I don't know exactly. I think it was at least 5. Right? I don't know, but it felt like that. Right? Like people were just dropping left and right. Didn't Noah Fant get hurt in this game, or did he come back?
Noah Fant played. He finished with 8 fantasy points. So
okay, it might have been one of those recurring things where he'd get dropped, and then they'd evaluate him, and they'd be like, "You're good to go," and then he'd go get go get back out there and get murdered again. And they're like, nah, you're still good. Get out there. So, yeah, no, MetLife needs to fix something. I don't know. There's obviously something wrong out there where it feels like players are getting hurt at that stadium at an unprecedented rate. Like it's weird.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I picked the Broncos. There really wasn't.
I'm down by 4 now.
Are you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh Jesus, John.
35-31.
So okay, let's skip. So the Saints Lions, John. What do you think? Think the Lions can do it?
Saints should do it. I don't care that the Lions won their last game. The Saints, that's their one win. Okay, the Saints are gonna break through.
Yeah, but the Saints also have one win, John. Okay.
Okay, but they've played much tougher teams.
You're telling me that Arizona isn't a tough team, John? Is that what you're telling me?
Not after they lost to Detroit.
You're right. No, yeah, no. The Saints should absolutely murder the Lions, and if they don't, I don't know what to believe in anymore. Honestly, if the Saints don't murder them,
Drew Brees needs to retire mid-season. If they don't win.
Like the Saints need to do something drastically different. Chargers, Bucks. This one can. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, but I think they're just a significantly better team. I think the quarterback situation is pretty even,
Right.
which sounds bad, but Tom Brady's not been playing well. Justin Herbert has been playing well. I take that back. Justin Herbert, because he's a rookie, has been playing all right.
Right.
Tom Brady, as an old man, has been playing all right. So it's weird, but neither of them in reality are playing very well.
If we were to judge
Tampa has
them
a much
off
better team.
how we judge normal quarterbacks, they'd both be playing terrible.
Yeah, bottom
but
half,
since
for
they're
sure.
a rookie and an old man, it's like, well, what do you expect? Right? So yeah, I this game I feel like isn't going to be a good game, but it's going to be a game to watch.
Close.
Right? Yeah. So it's going to be like one of
Be
those.
like game tonight.
Right. It's a dumpster fire, but this one's going to be at least a fun dumpster fire. Okay. The Jets Broncos game was painful throughout. There was no point in that game. Well, I guess when I was rooting for the Broncos to beat the Jets, like in their comeback, right? Quote unquote comeback, because you really don't come back to beat the Jets. It's just they let you beat them. But yeah, I have to say Tampa is just, they're on paper a better team, so it should work out. Bengals Jaguars. Ooh, I think the Bengals finally get their first win here. I said this last week about them beating the Eagles, and they tied. So
you're one step closer now.
I'm one step closer. Okay, they're gonna do it. They're going to win.
Jacksonville has a win.
Right.
Yeah, I'll go with Cincinnati then. They're not a 0-16 team.
Right. So yeah, the Bengals are gonna do it. They're gonna win a game. This is something I haven't realized. Have you realized that what's his name? Tyler Boyd, I believe, is he's gotten 20 points in his last 2 games in fantasy.
I did not know that. I knew he was a good receiver, and I figured he'd be doing pretty good now that AJ Green's back, but I didn't think he'd be fantasy worthy.
He is, and I kind of want to. This is either a very dumb move or a very big brain move. So the other day, I was looking at fantasy, and I was like, "There's running backs are dying left and right," and I'm happy with my running back core. Right? It's just if someone dies, I'm going to be very screwed because there's really no running backs out there in the free market.
Yeah.
Or at least ones that we know as are good, right? So I picked up Le'Veon Bell and sent him straight to IR. And then with that roster spot, I picked up Tyler Boyd. And I felt like that was a good move.
So when Le'Veon comes back from IR, does it automatically knock someone off your team, or does it give you a notification you need to pick someone to drop?
Yeah, which I'm assuming he'll come back next week, and by that point, I most likely would drop Micah Kaiser because I have Bobby Wagner, and Bobby Wagner is a way more consistent linebacker. The only reason I'm starting him this week is because he's playing the Giants. So if he doesn't perform against the Giants, then I'm going to be very
the
upset.
Seahawks are playing the Dolphins.
That is also true, but let's not forget the Giants are absolute garbage.
But if my thing is the running backs can't make it past the line of scrimmage, so the linebacker's going to get nothing, and then you got to look at who is he going to throw it to. The linebacker's not going to tackle anybody. Like, I see no scenario, because even I think Blake Martinez, when he played us, or not Blake, who is it? Our linebackers, Fred Warner and them, they didn't do great against the Giants. I think they had like 5 or 6 points. So it's not like the Giants are just handing out points. Like, they're not tackling it; they're getting blown out.
See, but the thing is, average points allowed to position is 18 for the Giants, and average points allowed for the Dolphins is 16. So I'm riding on that high right now. I'm going to drop Micah Kaiser after this game. It's just I'm hoping he has a good game. That's all it is. So that's where I'll put Le'Veon Bell back into my roster, which I don't think Le'Veon Bell is going to be a good enough running back to start on my team, but maybe he does good.
Flex role.
Right. No, James Robinson is my flex role.
I don't think James Robinson's going to stay consistent.
Maybe. I don't know. But Le'Veon Bell hopefully has a really good game when he comes back, and I can probably trade him, work some magic, trade one of my backup receivers, like Mike Evans, or something, and get a better running back. I don't know. But also, I want to talk about this real quick about Mike Evans. Last week, he only caught 2 balls for 2 yards and 2 touchdowns. That is some big baller points. He killed it in fantasy with 14 points. But yeah, no, so he's good.
I have 2 touchdowns and 14 points. Like,
yeah, no, he literally
having 2 catches, 2 yards,
and 2 touchdowns. 2 touchdowns. don't forget the 2 touchdowns. He literally only caught it for touchdowns. Okay, what were we on? Oh, Vikings Texans. This is gonna be fun.
This is a good game
because someone has to win.
I'm saying another tie. We thought the Bengals-Eagles game, someone had to win, right? They can't both not win. Well, they didn't either of them win. So the same thing this game. They're going to tie, okay?
No, John.
Can I pick a tie?
No, what do we... I mean, if you want to... I'll be... If they tie, that's 2 points.
Ooh.
Right? And you still, like... hold up. How are we scoring this? So, yeah, if you get it right...
We're just giving us points for rights.
Yeah.
So if we did tie, then it's the same as a loss. We don't get a point.
All right. So, yeah, the Dodgers just beat the Brewers.
Yay.
You got that one right. I'm so proud of you. Okay. I'm thinking big brain, very hard. Vikings?
Why?
Oh, God, I didn't think you'd ask me why. They throw and run ball pretty good. They don't just have
other than the last game, when have they thrown the ball good?
Ah, shit. Never. Okay, but Deshaun Watson doesn't have any weapons, John. Okay,
and he still put up 28 against the Steelers defense.
You're right.
I think
God.
This is the same thing I said for the Bengals-Eagles game, and this is why I think it's gonna tie. But I'm gonna pick the Texans because they have a better quarterback. 2 bad teams. Whoever has the better quarterback is probably gonna win. And the Texans have the better quarterback. Normally, I would say the team with the better defense is gonna win, but neither of these defenses have been playing well, so I'm leaving it up to the quarterback.
You're right. Neither of these defenses are good. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Invite Texans. Yeah, let's just do Texans. Okay, fine. Yeah, Texans. I don't know, John. Genuinely, this is like it's a flip of a coin, honestly.
If they tie, I still am taking my 1 point because I have that in my back pocket. Okay,
Okay.
if they tie.
I don't think they will, but okay. The Texans. Seahawks, Dolphins. The Dolphins are a surprisingly good, really good offense. They could pull something out. No, they can't. No, okay. It's
Carson's
Seahawks.
hurt. Dolphins win.
Yeah, Dolphins win. They don't have the Dolphin or the Seahawks can't get a running game. No, yeah, no, it's the Seahawks. It's
Cleveland, Dallas. I got Dallas. I don't think Cleveland will win.
Let's see. Hold up though, John. Cleveland has a winning record though. All right, did you see that? They're 2-1.
Okay. But Dallas made a comeback win against the Falcons. Okay, did you
John,
see that?
no, you can't use that as a valid point. The Falcons are literally like they choke every win, John. I don't know. That's not a valid point whatsoever.
Who have the Browns beaten? The
They-
Redskins, the Bengals, and they lost. Okay, you think the Bengals beating the Falcons isn't a valid point, but beating the Bengals and the Redskins is?
Okay, who'd they lose to?
The Ravens.
See, that's a good loss. That's a very good loss, John.
Cowboys lost to the Rams by 3. Browns got blown out.
And they
Hey,
also
the
lost
Ravens.
to the Packers, was it? Who'd
The
they?
Seahawks,
The
by
Seahawks.
7.
Okay,
a
you know what, John?
touchdown.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, fine. Yes, you're very right, John, but yeah, there's no arguing that yeah, the Browns are just the Browns, which I think this is their first winning record like since 2014. So they have that at least.
And they finished season 8-8, 2014.
Yeah, but that's not a winning record. Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. No, they had like in the season they had a winning record. That's like one of
Oh.
those like very specific like
Yeah.
ESPN
They were
stats.
1-0 at one point in this, or 2-1, because they haven't been 1-0 since 1925.
Yeah, there's some stupid record like that. Okay, Cardinals, Panthers, Cardinals,
I don't know, man.
Cardinals,
know, man.
Cardinals. They have to. All right.
No, they don't. Not after last week.
Okay, you're right. Not after last week, but here's the thing: they get their run game going, and therefore they don't have to throw it so much. So Kyler Murray doesn't throw as many picks.
I
Big
don't
brain.
know, man. Panthers
brain.
coming off a big win.
Who'd they beat? The Chargers?
Chargers.
That's a very big win. They don't have Christian McCaffrey, so you know what? They don't need him because they don't need him. They've only won without Christian McCaffrey in the lineup. So, with that logic, Christian McCaffrey equals bad. They lose when Christian McCaffrey's in the
Care
lineup.
about when I care about fantasy. I want Christian McCaffrey in that lineup.
So, Cardinals.
I got the Cardinals too. I don't know how if the Panthers pull through, I'd be very happy. I think that's good, but I don't think they will. Next is Colts, Bears. 4-0, baby.
Oh Jesus. Okay, this one's hard. Oh wow.
It's
So
gotta be 4-0. I'm going 4-0.
Big Richard.
I'm riding the trade.
Big Richard versus Philip Rivers. Oh God, this is defensively.
It's Philip Rivers, bro.
Okay.
I'm
I'm just
not
trying to look
picking
at their I'm trying to think of their roster right now. Defensively, I think the Bears are better, right? Offensively,
Yeah, obviously.
the Bears don't have a running game because what's his name?
Cohen got hurt.
He's out for the season, ACL tear.
They got David Montgomery though.
But is David Montgomery a running back?
They got Allen Robinson and Jimmy Graham.
No, I think wasn't Allen Robinson hurt as well, or am I?
He's always hurt.
So Big Richard versus Phillip Rivers.
Nope. Allen Robinson's playing.
For right now, John. You don't come game day.
Wait, who's a good corner the Colts have? That's his former rival.
Who are
I
the
don't
Colts
see.
DBs?
Xavier Rhodes.
Oh. But he popped off last week. I think he had 2 interceptions and a touchdown against the Jets, I believe. So,
No.
but still, a pick 6, John. Okay, pick 6.
Pick 6 against the one quarterback playing worse than his own quarterback.
Yeah, 4-0. This one pains me. I agree. They shouldn't be 4-0, but they will be 4-0. But hopefully we're wrong. I'm hoping they're wrong. The Ravens, Washington.
I don't know, bro. After that humiliating loss on Monday Night Football, the Redskins were looking a lot better to me.
Okay, John. All right, this is my favorite ESPN stat. Lamar Jackson is 21-3 versus everyone else in the league, and 0-3 versus Patrick Mahomes. He is yet to win a game against Patrick Mahomes. So he's gonna beat the Washington football team. But
I mean, it could be 21-4, bro. You don't know.
It could be, but it's not going to be. No, Washington is just an inferior team, and there's just no way around it. Unless they can play on MetLife, and half the Ravens roster gets absolutely obliterated because that turf monster out there be getting everybody. Rams, Giants. This game is at home for the Rams, so they don't have to worry about MetLife. So the Rams will win and will make it out with a healthy
If it
roster.
was in New York, the Rams would die.
If it was at New York, you'd be seeing who even is the Rams backup
Have you
right
seen
now.
the video of? It's an old video of Sean McVay has the sideline guy who keeps him off the field.
Yeah.
Sean McVay would get hurt if they played in New York.
He'd break his
They'd
ankles.
lose the game.
Yeah, he'd break his ankles with his get back coach trying to pull off, which I think that coach signed a deal for somewhere else to be like an actual coach.
No,
Just a get back coach. Which good
on
for
his
him.
resume, like, I've been stuck listening to Sean McVay for the last 2 years. I know good offenses. You should hire me.
Yeah, offensive coordinator job. Thank you, please. I've been around Sean McVay for at least a year.
I've literally been closer to him than anyone else on the field.
I mean, that's how people are getting coaching jobs nowadays. You either know Sean McVay, Shanahan, or what's the other guru?
Belichick.
No, Matt LaFleur, like offensive, like that's like the new LaFleur, like the new reign of coaches are like. Did you know one of these 3 guys? Oh, sick.
Andy Reid's got a good tree too. That's how Doug Peterson got his job.
Right. Which, I mean, coaching trees are good, right? Like Matt LaFleur.
It's funny because if you trace them all the way back, it's like it's the Giants coach when they won their Super Bowls and the Niners coach when they won their Super Bowls. All of them trace back from those 2 coaching trees. It's hilarious.
My favorite, what is it? Matt LaFleur, Sean McVay, and Kyle Shanahan were all Redskins assistant, coaching coordinators at one point or another. And I'm like, that is amazing because Washington, you had great coaches just sitting there. And you decided not to let them go, to just let them walk, which is amazing.
I think it's funny that those are the 3 guys that are looked up to because among the 3 of them, they've lost 3 Super Bowls.
This is also very true, but they've made it to the Super Bowl, John. Okay. You can't take that away from them. They've made it to the Super Bowl. They've done great things in the playoffs and then ultimately fail. But how many coaches get there, John? Okay?
Well, Matt LaFleur's never even been there. He lost in the championship game to the guy who lost the Super Bowl.
Okay. But Matt LaFleur, instead of drafting weapons and drafting players that can stop the run at Green Bay, you know what he did? He
Drafted for the future.
He drafted for the future, John, which ultimately seems to be working out because Aaron Rodgers is obliterating like football
I
teams
love
right
it. Like Jordan Love has done nothing, but Aaron Rodgers is playing better.
now. Right, like all he's done is have to be a babysitter and forced him
Yeah.
to be an angry babysitter that just throws bombs.
Matt LaFleur's like, we're never gonna play Jordan Love, but he's gonna make Aaron Rodgers mad, so he's gonna play better.
Which works out great. Okay, so yeah, did you pick the Rams or you're gonna go with
Yeah.
the Giants here?
Yeah, Rams.
Patriots.
Saquon maybe, but
No, there's no Saquon, so it's a big boy dub. Um, Patriots, Chiefs.
I don't like this because if the Chiefs win this, I don't see them losing a game.
Right.
So it's like it's another one of those where it's like they have to lose this game, but they don't because other than that one championship game, Andy Reid has been doing really good against Bill Belichick recently.
Right.
So this is a regular season game, so I think the Chiefs win it.
See, okay, when you said I don't think they're gonna, I agree with you. If the Chiefs don't lose this game, then I don't think they'll lose a game. But they will lose another game. Like
Yeah, they will.
Like they'll play
It'll be a dumb game. Like,
Mhm.
they'll play
the Broncos or the
and-
Raiders, and they'll just lose.
probably the Chargers.
Chargers,
the Chargers
most like-
are the team set 10. The team recently that's been beating them and been most competitive. Even when the Chargers suck, it's like we can still beat the Chiefs.
Right. We have one game, which is like in most divisions, right?
Yeah.
Like
I mean, the Rams were like that with the Seahawks back when the Legion of Boom was around. The Ravens and Steelers are always like that. There's a bunch of divisions that just have that one team. It's like
no
one
matter
team
what.
in the league in their division is gonna go 15-1, but the other one's gonna go 1-15 and be riding that one win.
So I still think the Chiefs will win this game, but I won't be surprised if the Patriots win. Right? Like it's like the Patriots are a good team, and that's annoying because they realistically shouldn't be. But so you're saying Patriots?
No, I'm saying Chiefs.
Oh, okay. Bills, Raiders, Bills Mafia, baby, all the way. Bills Mafia. We're out here crashing tables. Catch up.
This is another thing where it's like, are the Bills a 4-0 team? Because like, I feel like they need to win this game more than the Raiders do, which might sound bad, but the Bills go on. They play the Titans next week. Then they play the Chiefs. 2 weeks later, they play the Patriots. Then they play the Seahawks. Then they play the Cardinals. Then they play the Chargers. Then they play the Niners. Then they play the Steelers. 2 weeks later, they play the Patriots, and they finish the season on the Dolphins. I skipped the Broncos and Jets because I feel like right now those are going to be wins. But the Bills could go 4-0 now and then finish the season
8-8.
6-10.
Yeah. So this is a must-win for the Bills, and I think the Bills are a better team than the Raiders, right? And for the what is it? It's just I dislike the Raiders, and I don't think they're a good team. And
I know. That's why I'm trying to think, is this my bias against the Raiders, or do I actually believe the Bills would win?
Just do it. You don't need just
The
accept it.
Raiders they're not playing terrible. Like
No, genuinely they're not. They're playing good.
Patriots, but they beat the Saints.
Which the Saints are
beat the
doo-doo.
Panthers week 1. I think the Bills are a team they can genuinely beat. Like
Right, especially
Bills are 3-0, but they don't stand out to me as like being able to dominate the Raiders.
Like what saved the Bills last week is penalties, right? Like penalties that fell into their favor, and so maybe they don't get lucky this week against the Raiders and just falter, right? Maybe they're riding.
Also, so John Brown got hurt, right? And he didn't come back in the second half against
I wouldn't
the
know.
Rams. Let me see if he's back.
But
he was limited today at practice.
He's still there. So
yeah, but Devontae Adams and Julio Jones were limited all of last week, and then they didn't play.
And
he's a big part of that offense. I don't know that you
Wait,
can beat the Raiders with just Stephon Diggs.
right. I'm still gonna have to go with Bills Mafia. Have you seen the thing that Bills fans do before games and pour ketchup all over that one poor man?
No.
I'll send you the clip after we're done recording this, but it's weird because they literally the man stands there with like a ketchup or stands there with like a hot dog, and I forget what he says, but he says something, and then like a crowd of people like surrounding him, like on their trucks and whatnot, just start pouring ketchup all over him, like ketchup and mustard, and it's like that is
They undefeated since they've been doing that.
no, I mean no, it's the Bills. They've been doing this for a long time.
Oh.
And to cure their
I was gonna say,
depression.
if that's a new thing this season, then they need to keep doing it.
No, they've been doing this to cure their depression for a very long time.
Okay.
49ers Eagles game. See, this game, I would like to say the Eagles, but it's like
But you can't.
I can't. I genuinely can't because the Eagles are absolute doo-doo, and even the fourth string 49ers seem to be better than the Eagles. Right?
Yeah, it's which
You're getting Gronk back too.
It's like the Niners have their fourth stringers in, and the Eagles have their second stringers in, and it's like the Niners' fourth stringers are still better. Like a fully healthy Eagles team versus us, I think the Eagles have a real shot.
Right, but this isn't that.
This isn't it.
Which I might be getting the exact numbers wrong here, but I believe if Russell Wilson were to throw in his next 45, 46 pass attempts, throw interceptions or pick sixes, he'd still have a better passer rating than Carson Wentz. So Carson Wentz, mad doo-doo. That's basically what that stat is saying.
Yeah.
Which isn't fair to some degree because he's been getting absolutely murdered out there, but
well, your entire offensive line is hurt, and
Right.
then your entire receiving core is gone. It's like, what are you supposed to do, right? He's in Brock Purdy's situation right now. I feel bad for him.
right, he can't throw to himself, or he would. Which Marcus Mariota and like Ryan Fitzpatrick have thrown to themselves. All right, so he should figure it out, honestly. Yeah, it's just I can't say the Eagles, but I'm hoping the Eagles win or do something. I don't know. Yeah, plus the 49ers are getting what, Gronk back, or not Kittle back,
Kittle.
right? That's your
I don't know if it's this week or next week. Let me check.
I'm pretty sure it's this week. I think he's listed as healthy in fantasy.
Yeah, he'll return this Sunday.
Probably with like a rep count. I don't know, but he'll still be there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I can't not say the.
His birthday's coming up, October 9th.
You gonna buy him a birthday present, John?
Maybe.
Okay, so
if he wins this week.
Yeah, Falcons, Packers. Do you think the Falcons' high-powered offense?
Don't blow the lead. You think they can pull it off?
Genuinely, it's gonna be like
40-20, and then Aaron Rodgers will be like, "Hold my beer."
Genuinely, we're gonna be like texting during the third quarter, being like, "Oh my God, the Eagles or the Falcons might actually do it. They might actually do it," and then come back at the end of the game. It's like 50-45. The Falcons.
Oh no! Here's what's gonna happen. Okay. Aaron Rodgers is going to have the worst game of his career, and 5 minutes into the third quarter, he's going to get benched, and Jordan Love is going to come out and blow them away, and they're going to lose, and the Falcons are going to be dubbed the backup quarterback kings because they make every single backup quarterback look amazing.
Right. Yeah, no, it's genuinely like there's no bone in my body that like allows me to pick the Falcons here because it's just even if the Falcons are leading, they're going to blow the lead, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
and then Julio might not play again, so
I'm hoping he does.
But Devontae might not play again either. So
no, but did you hear this? Lazard,
yeah, he's been playing good.
No, he has been playing good, but he had to get a surgery that. Wait, I'm trying to find the exact cause of his injury.
3 receivers on the roster the last game.
So he underwent core muscle surgery and is out indefinitely.
Now they got 2 receivers on the roster.
Right, which that's why I was looking at fantasy and receivers, right? And I was like, because you're always trying to improve, right? Like, what's the better matchup for the week? Well, I'm never happy, John.
I'm just trying to write it out to the play. We all make the playoffs. It doesn't matter to me. You just got to write it out to the playoffs.
But that because a bunch of people started adding Marquez, the Saints' third receiver, and I was like, why the hell are people doing that? And then I looked it up. I was like, oh, that's why, because Lazard is dead. He's not coming back. But yeah, the Packers should win this. And if Diggs and nobody else plays, then Aaron Jones is going to eat. And Calvin Ridley is going to eat. And that's all I'm hoping for, honestly.
I don't know if Calvin Ridley will eat because Julio is not going to play.
Hopefully he does.
Gage is injured, isn't he?
He's back, I think.
Is he? I thought he got hurt in the last game, and then he wasn't.
What did he get hurt with? That's the real question. What did he get hurt with?
Limited in week 4 practice.
Which means he'll play. That's all that means. Yeah, okay.
No, it doesn't.
It means they can't not.
Julio would have played against the Bears if that's what that means.
Well, Julio's is set to play, isn't he?
I don't think so. I have him and Devontae in fantasy, and neither of them are set to play. They're both listed as questionable.
Let's get to Saturday and see what happens, John. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I don't know if you noticed this, John, but we're 1 game short. Why? What happened to the?
Wow, where did it go?
What happened to the Steelers-Titans game? What happened? Oh, turns out the Titans. They don't know. They have some real dum-dums. So I think, what was it? After the game, it was reported that 3 Titans players and 5 or 6 Titans officials tested positive for COVID. And then yesterday, 2 more Titans players tested positive, which they haven't released who. They haven't said who tested positive, which is interesting, which makes me think it's a Ryan Tannehill or someone important.
Well, I think they got tested after the game, so shouldn't the Vikings be tested as well? And then
I think they were, and no one tested positive on the Vikings. Which that was that was a fear that the Vikings game would also get canceled, but they seem to have made it out alive, right?
I say let them play and let the Steelers get COVID.
Well, originally the plan was to postpone the game until Tuesday
Tuesday, yeah.
But then that got botched, and now
they'll likely play week 7.
Yeah. So what will likely happen is the Titans will play the Steelers week 7, and the Steelers bye week, because they both get bye weeks now. Their bye week is now by week 4.
Oh, they got rid of their bye week?
Right. So what will happen most likely is the Ravens are going to have to find another bye week sometime, because their bye week is week 8, and the Steelers still need to play the Ravens. So they're probably going to play in that time slot, right?
Yeah.
So
I think it would be hilarious if this game, the Titans-Steelers game, just gets postponed to the end of the season, and they're the 2 teams battling for division rights. If the Steelers win, they win the division. If they don't, they're dropped down to the 5 seed. And versus the Titans need to win. I guess they wouldn't be playing for the division because their division sucks. But they can keep the Steelers out.
Right. Maybe it's you win, you're in the playoffs, you lose.
Maybe it's something dumb, the Titans are the 4 seed, and so if they win, they play the Steelers again next week. But
That'd
if
be
they
funny.
lose and let the Steelers win, then they play, I don't even know, the Raiders or something.
Right. So basically what this does is it gets rid of all Titans and Steelers players from fantasy for week 4. Which, do you know, John, which one of our friends has literally an entire roster filled with Steelers players?
Unfortunately, I do.
It's the favorite punching bag of this show.
They just don't stop coming.
They don't. Every single week, Jordan.
He didn't even do anything this week.
He
And
did it.
So
His entire roster is literally Titans and Steelers players with a concussed Chris Godwin and a Leonard Fournette that's not playing. So his entire bench has 0 points, and there's no way for that bench to score a point.
yeah.
So
And then even then, the two players on his team that aren't Titans or Steelers that are on the bench are injured. Leonard Fournette and Chris Godwin, they're not going to play.
Right.
And then he still has Minka Fitzpatrick in his lineup because he doesn't want to drop anyone and he has no open space.
which
Like,
who was it?
think about it. If he drops, I mean, Ben Roethlisberger or Jonnu Smith are the only people he could risk dropping and not having someone else pick them up.
Right, because I'm looking at TJ Watt. TJ Watt seems like a pretty valuable linebacker. Chase.
Or he could probably drop Claypool.
Yeah.
Because our league is so stacked. But in a normal league, he probably couldn't risk dropping Claypool. I don't know.
I mean, Jonnu, he probably can't risk dropping because I would love to have a solid backup tight end.
Well, he wouldn't even be. You'd have to. I mean,
I don't know.
if this is his bye week, then he's just going to play out the rest of the season. Like, the only reason you have a backup tight end is for the bye week.
Right. Which, I don't know. Maybe 1 week I feel like the backup tight end has a better matchup instead of Zach Ertz. But
And then Godwin and Fournette are obviously. I think it's interesting. He picked so many players from the same team, right? Like, if the Bucks, Titans, or Steelers have a bad game, his entire team is done.
Right. Like, I was looking at wide receivers, and it was like the Packers wide receivers, and I'm like, I don't want anything to do with Packer wide receivers because, like, I have a Packers running back, and I don't want to rely on one team so heavily, you know? And that's why I picked up Tyler Boyd, because I was like, I don't have anyone on my roster from the Bengals, and he's obviously their number one wide receiver, which I was just looking for wide receiver depth. That's all that was, right? And picking up Le'Veon Bell because why not? He'll have a good game, hopefully, and I could probably drop him and, you know, like trade him or something. And if he does play good, then he slides into my flex position and big brain move. And if he plays shit, I drop him. Like, there's no... He's sitting on an IR spot, which means I technically own him, which Jordan sent Saquon to IR when he realistically should just drop Saquon. Cause,
yeah, he's out for the season.
Like, he's not coming back.
Yeah.
He's not... and what dummy would pick him up and put him on his IR? Because it's like... He's not coming back.
You should drop him just to see if there is a dummy that would pick him up.
Right. But yeah, it feels bad, man, for Jordan, honestly. Like,
because realistically, if Saquon didn't get hurt, he wouldn't be doing as bad in fantasy.
Right.
But he did, and even then, like, he wouldn't be doing as bad because the Steelers and the Titans and the Bucks players have just happened to be doing. Like, the minute one of those teams doesn't pull through for him, he's relying solely on CeeDee Lamb and Tyreek Hill.
Which, when he drafted CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup,
yeah, like, there were better players still up.
He drafted a good team in a regular fantasy league, and that's not what our league is. Like, that's genuinely what it is. Like
I'm looking at who he's playing, or not who he's playing, but I'm looking at Giselle, who essentially auto-drafted. And her team is Russell Wilson, Melvin Gordon, Miles Sanders, Adam Thielen, DJ Moore, George Kittle, Joe Mixon, Harrison Butker. The Vikings defense, Forrest Buckner, Corey Littleton, Tyrann Mathieu. Her bench is Aaron Rodgers, Marquise Brown, Devin Singletary, Jonathan Taylor, Stephon Gilmore, and Devin White. It's a way better team than Jordan's team.
And she auto-drafted. Right. So it's like Jordan trying to be smart with, like, sleeper players didn't work out because, well, here's the thing. Maybe in week 7 or 8 it works out because the sleeper players work out, right? But, like, Right now, you're trying to win
It's
week
not
to
consistent.
week. Right, yeah.
And even
like,
if it is week 8, if he's playing like a team like Giselle's team, it won't matter.
right. And also, like, injuries happen, and he just picked players that got injured. Like, that's all it is, right? You got screwed over with the Christian McCaffrey injury. Chris Carson is injured. Like, Devontae Adams, Julio Jones, like, most likely, when we played each other,
Yeah.
you should have broken 200 points with Julio Jones and Devontae Adams.
If I'd had Julio and Devontae Adams in, I probably would have. But
Right.
they were both hurt, so I was relying on Diggs, Amari Cooper, and I think I don't even know. Do I have Julian? No, I had a third running back in, and that screwed me over too because he got hurt, and Chris Carson, Jerick McKinnon, and Chris Carson got hurt. So it's like
Right.
consistently, there's just like and it sucks too because none of them are like, oh, I can just drop them, go get someone. Like they're gonna come back eventually, so I just
Right.
have to hold on to them until they're healthy again.
There isn't like. So, yeah, it's just like the injury bug. It really
a lot more prevalent this season than it was before.
Right, like before it was like, oh, one player got hurt, but this year it seems like every single week someone is dying, right? Like it's just
like I went the first 2 weeks, my only injury was Christian McCaffrey. And then literally the next week I finished the game and I had 5 players in my starting lineup with a Q by their name.
Right.
Because they were questionable because they got hurt mid-game. And then Chase Young was sitting at the bottom with doubtful. And I'm like, bruh.
Right. Like I've gotten so lucky in the sense that like literally no one on my roster is hurt, right? Mm-hmm. And honestly, the only players that might be hurt is like Joey Bosa and Abram, which those aren't big blows to my team because those are like what 5 points, right? Like those aren't like a Julio Jones, Aaron Jones type.
So I think we're taking the defensive players for granted because I was looking at the top players in our league and it's like, oh, they're averaging like the top available defensive free agents and it's like averaging 8 points, averaging 9. I'm like, what? How are they like I'm like, my guy gets me 4 or 5 points every week. What is this? But the thing I hate about defensive players is it's
inconsistency.
Way more inconsistent. So like my defensive players are all getting me about 5 points a week. The guys who are averaging like 10 or 8 or 9 or 10 points a week have 1 week of like 12 and then the next week they get 2. And so it's like I'm not going to go pick that guy up and take that chance.
Right. Like here we have Shaq Thompson. He's averaging 8.7 fantasy points. Mm-hmm. And literally the first week he had 8 points. The next week he had 2 points. And then this past week he had 16 points. Right. So it's like the inconsistency is there. Mm-hmm. Like it's crazy how inconsistent.
My linebacker is Darius Leonard. And I'm like, he should be good. And I'm like, he gets 7.5, 6.5, 9, right? That's like a 1.5 point margin. And I'm like, he's ranked 14. And I'm like, there's not 14 people in our league. I can go get a better linebacker. I'm looking and it's like, yeah, there's guys averaging 12 points to his 9. They're getting that because they have like week 1, they did amazing. And then they've got 2 and 3 points the next 2 weeks. So
right. Like if we were defensive players aren't going to make or break our league, but you know, or our games, right? Because it's like, I don't know about you, but every single game I've been a part of has been like a blowout one way or the other.
Yeah, same.
So, which
I think the game I played you was the closest game I've been in.
Right. So it's like either my team or the opponent's team plays really good or it plays terrible. There's like, no, we're both playing really good. Oh man, I wonder who wins. There's really none of that.
I don't think I've even been in a game yet where the players on my bench would have won or lost me the game, right? Like I started the best possible lineup or
close to
the players on my bench wouldn't have gotten me the extra points I needed to win anyway, so it didn't matter.
And then I think my biggest thing off my team has always been like, oh man, if I would have started them, I could have broken 200. Like that's my only thing. Like I haven't broken 200 points, but like if I would have picked the most optimized lineup, right? I would have broken 200 easily in both of my wins. Which, another thing, can we highlight Ivan for
Yeah.
how just terrible, or how terrible his luck has been?
Yeah, I scored 206 points week 1 and he plays me and scores 177 and I'm the only player in the league who could have beaten him and he just got screwed over with that one loss. He was sitting at 5th place with the second most points scored. Then he plays you and you score 197 points and he scores what, like 150, 155, something like that.
Right, which was still like
And
third best or
which wasn't a
something.
lot, but it was still third best. Yeah, so it's like he's sitting with still the second most points scored in our league, and he went even further because he's 0-2 now. And so
Which,
he finally got his win. I think it was against Demetrius.
you're right, which I think he barely won.
He barely won. It was a good game, but Ivan again, I think he got the second most points. So he's consistently been 2 or 3, and which means he's good. It's just he's been getting screwed over with who he plays.
He scored the most amount of points in our league, but he's also been like, he scored. I'm second with amount of points scored with like 523, and he's first with 529. But
points against, he has 571. I'm second, or no, I'm third with 505. Demetrius is second with 538.
Right,
so it's like that's 30 more points.
He's the sky, like he scores the most amount of points, but he also gets scored on the most, right? Like there's no, he just bad luck, right?
In terms of coaching, so in fantasy it tells you who is the best like coach based off how many moves they make. He is second only to the number 1 player in our league. And I feel like if he was winning, he'd probably be 1.
Wait, Isaiah's the first in coaching? Wait, where am I? Third? Yeah.
Ruben's 4. I fell all the way down to 7 because I was second, and I dropped all the way down to 7 because
last week you lost, and
no, it was the week before that. What happened? I think someone got hurt, and I started them, but they got hurt like mid-game, right? And so they scored. They were projected to get me like 20 points, and they got me 2 or something like that, and. I don't add or drop a whole lot of players, so my inactivity is hurting me.
Which I add and drop players like it's the plague out there. Which it's mainly for my own entertainment, honestly. Like it's just,
that's my thing is I'm like, I would, but I don't like. I feel like I drafted really good. Like I have 2 spots on my team that I think are safe to drop, but like I can't drop any of my receivers. I feel like besides maybe Julian Edelman.
I'm looking at my roster. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4 spots I could drop without.
Yeah, you have. I feel like you intentionally leave spots where you're like, these are interchangeable.
Right, like Deshaun Watson, I could drop at a heartbeat because I could pick up a quarterback, boom, like that, like Which I don't want to drop Deshaun Watson. I kind of just have him there. I don't know. He's vibing.
But like it's like I could drop either one of my quarterbacks. I feel like I could drop Matt Ryan or Kyler Murray and go pick up someone else like Joe Burrow or something and be fine. But that's like it's not really a forward or back. It's like that's a lateral shift. It's not anything significant.
No, my entire bench is just me picking up players and dropping players for the fun of it, for my own entertainment. Like none of those players are genuinely going to start. It's just, this would be fun to have, right?
My thing is like, if everyone on my team is healthy, then there is no reason for me to ever change out my starters besides my quarterback, Kyler Murray and Matt Ryan. Like whoever they're playing that I just think they'll do better against. That's like the only reason. Because if everyone's healthy, my starting running backs will be Christian McCaffrey, Chris Carson, and that's it. That's all I need. Then my starting receivers would be Devontae Adams, Julio Jones, and Stephon Diggs,
which is
with
really
DK
good.
Metcalf and Amari Cooper on my bench.
Which some would say you have too many good wide receivers there, right? Like, but Chris Carson would be a good fantasy running back, but in the current situation that we're in with letting Russ cook, you're faltering there. But
I'm stuck.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, can Russell Wilson sustain that the entire
Right.
year.
Do you
The
think?
minute
Oh,
he doesn't, Chris Carson's a great running fantasy
right.
back.
Do you think he finally gets an MVP vote this year?
Vote, hopefully. I don't think he'll win it, but he'll get a vote.
Right, which is the big thing. I think he was on like an interview and like, Russ, do you think you'll get a vote? He's like, a vote? I'm trying to win. I'm trying to get MVP. Which I think for me it'd just be more funny. It'd be hilarious if he still doesn't get a vote.
Gets one vote.
No, not even one vote. If he doesn't get a single vote this year again with how good he
We're only
plays.
3 weeks in,
Right.
and there isn't anyone even close.
Aaron
to being,
Rodgers is
Patrick and Aaron are 2 and 3, and I don't think they're even near the level that
Patrick
Russell Wilson's
Mahomes?
playing at right now.
Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers are both undefeated.
So is Russell Wilson.
Yeah, okay. I thought you said 2 and 1. Oh, you like as in ranking. Okay.
Yeah, they're 2 and 3.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, Patrick Mahomes is probably still up there, and same with Aaron Rodgers. And then after that, that'd be hard to think of another player that's blowing, like, killing it. Which
Yeah.
majority of the time, MVP isn't who's the best player of the season; it's who's the best player in the last 5 or 6 weeks of the.
Like, for me, honestly, the 4th best player in the league right now would be, or 4th best in terms of MVP would probably be Josh Allen.
Oh yeah. Josh Allen has been carrying the Bills. Calvin Ridley would be up there because he's getting the yardage, like stats wise and stuff. He'd be like,
for me, I was gonna say him, but I rule out receivers.
right.
Like, if Jerry, Randy, and T.O. didn't manage to win it, then I don't think
a receiver
anyone ever
will probably never, unless they're breaking like what 3,000 receiving yards, maybe. Right.
Like, Calvin Johnson didn't even win it the year he broke the records.
What was his record?
He broke Jerry Rice's single season receiving.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, MVP is a quarterback award, even though they say it's not. It really is.
Adrian Peterson was the last non-quarterback to win it, wasn't he?
Yeah. Aaron Donald should have won it too.
Aaron Donald should not have won it. Shut your mouth. Adrian Peterson, you have to have a record-breaking year.
Right.
So I think I remember a couple years ago, David Johnson either came close or hit 1,000 rushing and 1,000 receiving yards, and people thought he was going to win it. And I'm like, he's not even the first player to do that.
Right.
And those guys didn't win it when they did it. I do not think he'll do it.
No, I think it's going to make it interesting because the league is going to a 17-game season, right? In the future.
I heard that, yeah.
So stats like receiving yards and whatnot are going to be broken.
Yeah, that's the other thing is Calvin Johnson's record, the record he broke that was Jerry Rice's. Jerry Rice did it in a 10-game season.
Right.
Or 10 or 12. And Calvin Johnson did it. It took him 16 games, and he did it in the 16th game.
Right.
So we're in a passing league, and it still took them that long.
So yeah.
Get it.
Yeah, no, records like that, it's going to have to be, like, I think it's going to have to be broken down into, well, the 16-game era, the, 10-game era, whatever.
They do that a lot in baseball.
Right,
like,
they do.
They'll say Babe Ruth did this in this many games, but if you project this guy's stats now over that many games, he's just as good.
I think the MLB just had a 60-game series or 60-game, regular season, and a majority of those stats, I bet you, are going to be projected out over 160 games, which it's baseball. It's most people don't like the stats. Like, baseball is a stat-driven game, even though old baseball heads refuse to accept that. Like, the stats of baseball is really interesting, and it should be followed.
If you're interested in baseball,
right? Right. But that's the only aspect of baseball I like. Really, is the stats.
Yeah.
It's like
Moneyball is a good movie.
I love the idea of Moneyball and picking up the best players based off the stats and whatnot. Because, like, there's not many sports where you can do that either. Like
a lot of basketball, football, you just have to watch the film and be like, that guy's talented.
Right,
You can't look at the stats. Like, Anthony Gordon should have been the #1 overall draft pick last year if you look at the stats, and he clearly did not deserve that when you watch film. Whereas baseball, you can look at the stats, blindly say that guy should be the best player on your team, and then you go watch him play, and it's absolutely true. He should be the best player on your team.
Right, like basketball, you have you have Russell Wilson averaging a triple double, and then you go look, and it's like, well, he's not really averaging a triple double. He's playing good basketball, but like a majority, it's stat padding.
His
Right?
rebounds specifically at the end of games were stat padding. Which
Right.
there's a stat, he's like 80 and 30 or so, 80 and 20 or something like that in games where he has a triple double, right? Like it's stat stuffing, but they're winning.
Yeah.
But I think that has to do with more the fact that
He's allowed
at
the
a certain
stat
point,
stuff.
they're
Right.
blowing the other team out, so that everyone else on his team is like, let him get the rebounds. Like, who cares? Like,
Right.
we don't need those anymore.
But yeah, it is what it is. Anything else in sports, John, that you want to talk about?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay. Well, thank y'all for watching, listening. We'll see y'all on Tuesday's episode, right? And let's see how well we did on these pick'ems. All right. Laters, y'all.